What? Really? Like right off the rip? What's shaking, everybody? Lou don't care. Lou does not care one rip about the start of the show. She just heard me get loud for a second. She's like, "Hey, what's going on? What are we doing? We're doing nothing. We're putting my earbuds in that I forgot to put in. They don't really need to have in until we have our guest, Kevin Frandsen on. Franny will join us in about a half an hour. We will talk all things baseball, but we'll get into some stuff before we get Franny on. One was Ohtani. I seriously, God, I remember the days when the Angels had him. I keep texting my buddy every time Ohtani does something. Man, if the Angels could ever get a guy like that, that'd be incredible. That'd be so cool. And then he's a Red Sox fan, so he would text me, "Man, I wish we had a guy like Chris Sale. That'd be great if we had a guy like him." Oh, the Angels screwed that up, not shockingly. But so Ohtani last night, in case you weren't paying attention, and really, if you weren't watching any sports at all last night, it's the only way you wouldn't know what happened last night. Braves, who have not won a game, get out to a 5-0 lead down in Chavez Ravine. Dodgers claw their way back, tie it up at 5, get to the bottom of the 9th. I think Pajas was leading off, and Pajas would do ground out flat. I'm not really sure. So set the stage for Ohtani. On Ohtani bobblehead night, no less. First pitch, crank, left center. As soon as he hit it, you knew it was gone. You know how Ohtani's like Barry Bonds in that way. Like it just sounds different coming off their bat. There are a few players in the game when they hit the ball, it's like, ooh, that sounded different. And Ohtani's that dude. Ohtani's that dude where the ball hits his bat, sweet spot. It's just like it's a different sound than anybody else. And he hit it, and that sound happened, and the ball said bye-bye. I mean, this guy, I don't know how many superlatives. You got to keep like just using the same superlatives because it's insane what this guy is doing. I think they had the MVP odds. They had National League MVP odds. That's it right here. And click. Thanks for coming, everybody. I think that was off Iglesias. Yeah, he's gone. Home run. Dodgers 8-0. God, that guy's such a badass. He is such a badass. Like, how is he not favored to win the MVP every year? I don't think he is actually favored to win the MVP going into this year. I don't know who it was. I don't know if maybe it was Soto, possibly. Who else? Who else could it have been? I'm trying to think. Acuna is not coming back until I don't know, probably midway through the year. I don't know if there's anybody in the Braves, but maybe it was him. Maybe somebody look that up for me. See what I thought he was second though. I thought it stuck out in my mind that like, how is this guy not first? Like he should be first every year. He hasn't even pitched yet, and the guy's just doing what Ohtani does. I was like, yeah, man. I remember when he was an Angel early on, like he struck out quite a bit. Dude doesn't even strike out anymore. He's batting over 300, OPS over 1,000, 50 jacks. Not even stealing bases this year that I've seen. It's insane what this guy does. Are those the MVP odds? Are those up to date or are those ESPN bet? So you can April 2nd. Okay, so they're probably I wonder what they were to start the season. I can't see it's a little small on my screen, but what's Ohtani? Plus 145, okay. And then Soto is what? Oh, I get okay. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. He should be the favorite every single year because he's one of the best hitters and he's not even pitching yet. I mean, it's so yeah. I'll give you a little insight about the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Jerk off that he is, Mr. Dodger fan. He texts me all the time. Hey, it's not too late if you want to become a Dodger fan. I'm like, no, I don't want to become a Dodger fan. I was a Dodger fan till I was about 13, 14. They traded away about maybe 14. Say, Lopes, Garvey, all those guys. And I just said, I've had it. and Angel Stadium was easier to get to, and they had a good team, and I liked watching them play. I was a huge fan of Rod Carew, Brian Downing, the Hulk, the catcher. He was like big, like before anybody else was big. He's like massive dude. Doug DeCinces, Bobby Grich, Disco Dan Ford, Fred Lynn. I love that team. I don't know if Nolan was on that team. I think it was probably gone by then. Frank Tanana, Mike Witt. So we used to go to all the Angel games, and not all of them, but we go to maybe 10 a year. Go down there, sit up in the upper deck, especially dollar hot dog night. Dollar hot dog night. Just go there and crush hot dogs for a buck. Get a soda and just mow hot dogs and sit up in the top deck. Love to go up there, and you'd bring about 100 all-star ballots with us and fill out the all-star ballots when we went to the games. So I was I've been an Angel fan ever since. So, but Steve grew up close to the Dodger Stadium, not that far. So he's a Dodger fan. And it's funny because I hate when people think, well, now you're in here, you should be like a Giant fan. Like, no, when you're a kid, you don't lose that stuff. I don't care if you're a coach, manager, whatever. I mean, it's not like Steve, who grew up a Laker fan like I did, is still a Laker fan. I mean, there's a line, right? Not like, yeah, I coach the Warriors, but man, I still like the Lakers. I like them a lot. If they win tonight, I wouldn't be that mad. I mean, obviously that doesn't happen. I mean, that'd be stupid. But other sports, you like your team that you grew up with. So, and I told him, I go, if you become a Giant fan, I'll lose respect for you. I go, you're a Dodger fan. Growing, not that he ever would, but he's a Dodger fan. So he's always needling me, always. Like, you want to be? Hey, come on over. Water's nice. Oh, look what the Dodgers did last night. It's gonna be a fun summer. Stuff like that. I'm just like, please, just leave me alone. So I texted him. I go, yeah. I go, Dodgers and Angels both in first. And then I looked, and they're half game out. It was fun while it lasted. Angels, by the way, you can't be a half game out when you don't lose a damn game, which the Dodgers haven't. Although neither have the Padres. Although the Giants have only lost one. And I was wrong on the D-backs yesterday. I said they were 2-3. They were 3-2. Now they're 4-2. Like, apparently nobody in that division can lose. They've lost 3 games other than the Rockies. And the Rockies are going to be bad. We know this. But the top 3 teams, or top 4 teams, they've lost 3 games between them. 3. And of course it's going to change, but I think that speaks to the depth. And if the Giants join that fray, because I don't think anybody's going to be shocked if the Dodgers went over 100. If the Padres were to win 90, that wouldn't be completely shocking. Everybody predicted the D-backs to be good this year. And then if the Giants were to jump into that mix, this division is going to be bonkers. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch these teams play each other, because I hated the unbalanced schedule where you played your division 19 times. I did. There's too many. Like, only the Dodgers was like fun to watch 19 times. Padres weren't, D-backs weren't. And who wants to play the Dodgers 19 times when they're this good? Like, I not me. I'm okay with playing them 12 times. But if everybody's good, it's going to be fun, because it's a fun little rivalry with the Padres. I never felt it with the D-backs just because it's Arizona. It's just, I don't know. But the Dodgers given, and the Padres feels like there's something there as well with the growing fan base. And, they got some guys on that team that can be a little mercurial. Tatis, Machado, stuff like that. So you need someone that you can kind of dig into, that you can really dislike on the other team. It just makes it more fun. And the Dodgers in that way are really hard. Who doesn't like Ohtani? It's like, what an asshole that Ohtani. Like, no, you just like, that guy seems like a really cool guy. I really like him on my team. Who dislikes Mookie Betts? Mookie Betts? How are you going to dislike Mookie Betts? How are you going to dislike Freddie Freeman? I mean, you're not. I mean, they're really the only guy you can dislike on that team is Max Muncy. He's easy to dislike, especially for Giant fans, because he got into it with Madison Bumgarner. But then again, who didn't get into it with Madison Bumgarner? Madison Bumgarner got into it with everybody. And look, as Giants fans, tell me this. You can't tell me with a straight face you hate Clayton Kershaw. That dude seems like a super cool dude. Like, you'd love to have that guy on your team. Like, you kidding me? Love to have Clayton Kershaw on the team. That guy's a stud. So they just seem like a bunch of good dudes. And then Dave Roberts, good dude. So it's not an easy team to hate. It used to be easy to hate because they had Tommy Lasorda. That was a given. He played it up like he loved playing the villain. So, but the point is, the whole division's going to be fun, and the rivalries will be fun, and the games will be fun if they all kind of stay in there. And right now, 3 losses between the top 4 teams of the NL West. And I'm not usually big for baseball like this time of year, like, oh, I got to watch this matchup. But the Dodgers go to Philly this weekend, and I'll be recording those. Those will be ones that I will check out, and I'll talk a little bit about next week. Probably not going to talk too much individual games, baseball wise. There's just so many of them. But what I am going to try to do is watch like a team for like a week or 3 days, because I'd like to be conversing on all the teams that are at least good, and see and watch their pitchers and stuff like that. So, I'll obviously watch the Giants, watch the Dodgers, watch the Angels, but I'm going to watch the D-backs, watch the Padres, watch the Phillies, watch the Braves, watch the Cubs, watch the Brewers, just watch the teams that, are going to be pretty good teams in Major League Baseball. It's not going to be super easy, especially with the NBA playoffs rolling around. And speaking of NBA playoffs, big one tonight down at Staples or down at Crypto or whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays. I think it's Crypto. That whole crypto thing, like the whole crypto thing is funny because it like everybody was so passionate about it one way or the other. Like, and I always hated the red eye people. The red eye people that like pushing, oh, look what crypto's doing. Look what and I was always just like, fucking dude, look, go do your crypto. Go mine your crypto. Leave me alone. Okay. Stop trying to push it on everybody. You make it seem like a Ponzi scheme. Like you're trying to get more people to buy it. So your price goes, just go do your own thing. Okay. Have fun. It's doing great right now. It's like 80, 90K right now. So it's been fantastic. Took a dip there for a while. Now it's back up, whatever. I don't do it. I don't hate people that do it. Just stop. Seem like a preacher. Don't tell me I need to go to church on Sunday. Okay. I'm not going to church on Sunday. I got football. And I'm betting, so I'm not going to church. Okay, I'm not going to pray for a winner. Oh, let me hit this 3-team parlay. Not going to happen. I'm going to be sitting at home watching it. But yeah, the whole crypto thing was wild. So you get the red eyes, and everybody's kind of like, and then remember the Matt Damon commercial. What is it? Something favors the bold. The future favors the bold, or something like that. Yeah, that company didn't turn out so well, did it? No. You don't see those commercials as much anymore, do you? You don't. But hey, hopefully you're making lots of money off it. I know some people that have some. Look, I wouldn't mind having the guy deliver a pizza and they get like $100 zillion in crypto and not even know it at the time. Like, hey, you want this crypto for the pizza? What am I going to do with this? All right, I'll just keep it. He probably lost it somewhere in the move. He probably moved and like lost his Fire Stick or lost his codes or whatever. His blockchain was off by about 3 letters. Like, oh crap, how did I put this in? This is worth billions. I can't even access it. It's just killing me. Anyway, they're playing down there tonight is the point I was like kind of getting to. And so it's a big game. And not big in terms of are you going to make the playoffs? But look, 3 is probably still at play with the Nuggets losing that last night to the Spurs. And the Nuggets didn't play anybody. The only guy they played was Westbrook. I looked at their I was like, God, the Spurs are beating the Nuggets. And then I was like, okay, it's back to back. Let me see who's playing. Like Brown out, Joker out, Gordon out, Murray out, Porter Jr. out. I was like, good night. Who's these guys playing? So they played Westbrook, and the Spurs got him. So you see right here, Lakers and Nuggets are 2 games ahead of the Warriors. They both, if I'm not mistaken, I'm almost positive. Probably should look this up, but they have the tiebreaker on the Warriors. So in essence, they're 3 games behind the Lakers and the Nuggets. I think Rockets. Let's just say the Rockets are 2 now. They're clear. So you got 2 big games coming up: Lakers, Nuggets. The Warriors could maybe get to 4, maybe 3. And here's why, in my estimation, 3 is important. And you'd almost, for me, rather be 6 than 5 because you get to play the Rockets in the second round if you advance. And the reason I said this is the Rockets are a good team. I just think they're probably a year early. They're young, super athletic, really can get after you defensively. Like they are long. So it's not going to be easy, but they don't shoot it that well. And I think they can be defended in the playoffs when you really lock in on what they try to do and who their scorers are. I think that's a team that if you can stifle Şengün, who's kind of like the hub of their offense, a little bit like Jokic. Look, he's like I don't even want to call him a poor man's Jokic, but he's Şengün's really good. He can ball. But then you got guys that are really hit or miss as far as offensively. Thompson's had a fantastic year for him. Van Fleet can shoot it a little bit from the perimeter, but he can be exposed defensively. Green is like wildly erratic. Like he's so athletic. He could hit you for 40, but then he can also chuck a 3 for 17 in there as well. Jabari Smith Jr. is another guy so they have a good team, but they don't have the experience, and I don't know if they have the offense to carry them in the postseason. So I would like to be 3 or 6. 4 or 5 is a little bit of an issue because 4 or 5 you're probably going to get either the Nuggets or the Warriors, and then OKC in the second round. And in case you haven't noticed, if you squint really hard, I'm being sarcastic, you can see someone that's 14 and a half games above the Rockets. I remember telling my good friend Mark Spears, who writes for ESPN, I go, Thunder are going to win this division by minimum 5 games. I undersold that. They're probably going to win it by 15. I mean, the Thunder are, and then people still question the Thunder. And I get it, because they don't have a ton of experience too. But they do have shooting. Not great shooting, but they out-volume you. But what they do is they get after you on defense and don't turn the ball over. I mean, it's so valuable. Are you snoring on the show? I mean, seriously. All right, you go ahead and sleep. They lead the league in forced turnovers, and they commit the fewest turnovers. That's like 5 shots a game they're getting, 5 extra shots a game that they're getting, which is just, I can't tell you how valuable that is. If you hit 2 of those shots, one of them's a 3, one of them's a 2, that's 5 extra points that their team doesn't get just by not turning the ball over. So OKC, trust me, OKC is really good, and I think they're going to go to the finals. I think they're the best team, clearly the best team. But could the Lakers beat them? Yeah. Could the Warriors beat them? Yeah. Could the Nuggets beat them? Yeah. Could the Clippers beat them? Yeah. Look at the way the Clippers are playing since Kawhi Leonard started balling. Kawhi Leonard's back, baby. Kawhi Leonard, now for how long? Who knows? Anybody, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea how long Kawhi's going to be around. But while he's playing like this, they're a threat because Harden can still get after it. Powell has had a hell of a year for them. Zubats, he's kind of been the untold story with the Clippers this year. He's been really, really good in the pivot. I like him a lot. So if they're playing, that's a really good team. And look, they got the Mavs coming up twice. They got the Spurs. I hate doing this, but assigning wins and losses because it seems to never work out that way, right? Who would have assigned a loss to the Nuggets last night against the Spurs? Nobody. But that kind of stuff happens. But they're going to be favored in the next 3 games. They could easily sneak into that 6th spot and kick somebody out. Timberwolves are right there. You see it. Grizzlies, Clippers, Timberwolves are all right there. Now, what you need to know there is Warriors have the tiebreaker on the Wolves and the Grizzlies. Clippers have the tiebreaker on the Warriors. And they play the Warriors the last game of the season. So if somehow the Clippers find themselves a game up on the Warriors last game of the season, they won't need it. Because even if they lose, they're going to win the tiebreaker. And so a lot of maneuvering going on. But tonight's game, it should be a lot of fun. Lakers coming off a road trip where they stole one in Indianapolis. As a tip in on a Luka miss. LeBron tipped it in. And then one of the most insane losses you will ever see in Chicago, where the Bulls scored 9 points in 12 seconds. Yeah, 9 points in 12 seconds. How's that possible, you may ask? Well, they scored a 3, right? Lakers inbound it. LeBron throws it away. I mean, look, LeBron's great, but that was a brutal pass, a horrible pass. Get another 3. They go up, or they tie the game because they're down 6. Then Austin Reeves comes down, scores like a little runner, like from 5 feet, banks it in. You're like, oh, Lakers, so lucky. How'd they get away with this? And then Giddey pops a half quarter. It's like, oh, man. Talk about a mule kick to the nuts. I mean, that was a rough one. And that came right after. I think that was a back-to-back after they beat the Pacers the night before on the tip-in. So, but we have Franny joining us. Franny doesn't want to hear about. Well, no, Franny does want to hear about the Warriors and Lakers because Franny is a huge Golden State Warrior fan. In fact, he went to the game last year when they were playing in Philadelphia. A good friend of mine, color analyst for the Washington Nationals, and local hero Kevin Frandsen. Franny, what's up?
Which local are we talking about here?
Well, I don't know what area code you grew up in.
Well, if it's in like the household, sure, yeah, like that's about the hero I'm going to be. But
well, I wasn't going to go that big. I was going to go a certain bedroom or a certain like kitchen, like a room.
Dude, maybe go be a bathroom on that one. That'll be all right. What's up, dude?
How you been, brother?
Well, a little tired today. We got the Nats were in Toronto. Dude, you broke it though. Did you go see?
Dude, I broke your bat.
Dude, that was like the one
I broke the bat.
It's all right. I did one of those.
I was so sad.
No, you weren't.
I was so
No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
You know, I was. I was like, I mean,
hey, it's still.
And I got the box too, by the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was one of the. That's one of the cooler. That's probably one of the cooler things that had happened to me in my career. Getting a bobblehead, as random as can be, you know, but for a minor league team, and they did a pretty damn good job on that one.
No, it's nice.
I loved it.
Who are you playing for?
That was the Iron Pigs.
Oh, it is the Iron Pigs. Iron Pigs have a sweet logo. I think I have an Iron Pigs t-shirt.
It's awesome. Yeah. You know what's crazy is that like around little leagues and stuff. I mean, the Iron Pigs are one of the teams that now like has latched on to everybody. And then for even better now is like one of my best friends from San Jose State, Anthony Contreras, is the manager there. Is that Lou?
That is Lou. Lou Doo is in the house.
Lou. Yeah. What questions you got? Yeah.
No, Lou only has one question. When's lunch?
When's lunch? Eat.
Oh, that too. That too. She'll be going out. She'll be going out a little later. But yeah, I mean, she's not all that into the pod. She's just like, yo, what time is it? No, we're doing it early though, so I should be okay. Yesterday we actually had Lou in here, and then the bunny came in because I left the screen door open.
What kind of bunny?
It's a Dutch rabbit. You know,
what is ours? Is a lion. We have a lion.
Bear, and they're like two. You know, she's brown and white, or gray and white, black and white. The ones you see in the cage, you're like, I feel so bad for these rabbits. They're just in this cage. So I let the bunny out every day in the backyard to run around for like 5-6 hours. She can do her own thing, dig her little rabbit warrens that I got to go to the Encinal nursery, buy sod so I can fill those things in. I'm like, you're killing me, bunny. You're absolutely killing me. But I left the door open because the cats like to go in and out.
Right.
Bunny usually doesn't come in. The bunny came in, so I looked over my shoulder yesterday, and there was a bunny hopping around the carpet. I'm like, what are we doing here? So the cat was up, Pip was up here, Lou's on my lap. We got the bunny in here. It was like Funny Farm. I was like, where's Chevy Chase?
So we got Maze, who's our 8-year-old lab, Willie Mays. We got Dusty Baker. We got a little mini labradoodle, and we have Hazel. She's a whatever Lions rabbit, whatever you call it.
Oh, you got a rabbit too, then?
Yeah, we got a rabbit too.
Nice,
dude. Dusty's like this little guy, right? He just sits right by our cage. Like she has like a. It's not even a cage. It's just like a playpen. It's huge. She just roams around all day on. He just sits there waiting for her to come near the side, and he kind of like nips at her.
Really?
She kicked him one time. He hasn't been over there since.
Really?
I'm like, dude, she's tiny. We can't let her out because there's a feeling that, the dogs would look at her as a toy, I think. And if
you know what though, I bet you could try it because Lou's not that big. Lou's probably about 21 pounds, but they'll sniff each other, like just walk up, and the bunny comes right up to Lou and sniffs Lou in the nose, and Lou just kind of looks at her. And the cats,
crap.
Yeah, the cats were the ones I was worried about. Because when the cats first saw her out back, they got in that like lions, like kind of like hunter's pose, where you could see like just the shoulder blades and the eyes got really big. And I'm like, I could just see the cat take it around the neck and just try to. And I was like, oh come on, don't do that. But no, I can let them all four out and they all coexist and nobody pays anybody any attention. They just do their own thing. So no, the biggest thing I have to worry about with the bunny is if there's any birds of prey and come down, swoop and grab the bunny. Because we used to have a couple bald eagles that lived around here. They lived over at the golf course, Chuck Carica. I guess they're not there now, but I don't really have any birds of prey over in Alameda. So I'm like, I don't think a crow's going to come pick her up. They would have no reason to. So I go, bunny can fight that off.
Birds of prey there is like John Fisher, I think,
Yeah. Thank you.
Boom. That's what you're doing these days, huh? How long did it take you to figure out your routine?
We're still kind of figuring it out. What are you talking about? We're still kind of figuring
just letting out the animals doing that stuff. It's a bit.
We're just doing well. I needed to do something. I was going to do this regardless because I want to do this and it's fun and I talk about.
And you're awesome
all the time. Well, I appreciate it. But we're just kind of whatever works. Try to do 3 shows a week and maybe
dude,
I don't know.
The backyard ones are amazing.
Dude, when you get to the Bay Area, you definitely have to come over.
Yeah, but like here, let's be honest here. Bill Martin being your first back there.
Bill was great.
That guy, dude. If you didn't know what ADD was, that's him. It's like anyway, like you're going like all over the place. I'm going, this guy's still the best. Like he's
Bill's
still
incredible. Bill's incredible. Yeah. He actually
texted
call him
the weatherman.
He goes, let's do it again. The Bay Area's weatherman. Bay Area's weatherman. When you get to the Bay Area, you're gonna come to the backyard.
I will.
We'll get you over to the backyard. Yeah, it's fun. We've had we had Ratto in the backyard. We have Dave Fleming in the backyard. Ray? So Ray's great. He's doing well.
Did you get him hammered?
Well, I don't know. He drank a half bottle of wine, so I'm not really sure. I did.
And he's gonna be the same way. Anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, that might be. Well, the thing about Ray, we're trying to get him some like a hat or some glasses because the sun was just crushing him, man. I mean, I thought he was going to have like 4th degree cancer by the time the show was over. I was like, Jesus. So dude, can we get you something, please?
You should just have a hat for like a guest. Like just
he looked like Mr. You know that show that Christmas show? He's Mr. Heat Miser. That was like Ray. He's Mr. 101. And I was like, please, can I give you a hat? Complete sunglasses, something. So we're thinking we might have to get an awning to put it back there just so we have some shade. Because
it's for the pod. It's a write-off. It's all good.
Exactly right. All right, let's get to a little baseball, and then we'll get to some local Bay Area stuff as well. Can you even? I said last night, you can't write this stuff with Ohtani. Walk-off homer on Ohtani bobblehead night. I go, it's just the dumbest thing. And I can't. I'd love to be able to hate him because he played for the Angels and everybody knows I'm a huge Angel fan, but I can't. The dude's like the coolest dude, and he's just so good and so humble and just goes about his business, and he wants to be part of a team. He doesn't want to be like, hey, I'm separate. Like, I can't. And I watch him, just like, I was telling these guys, Franny, that I always text my buddy and go, God, if only the Angel could get somebody like that, that'd be so much fun to have him.
And celebrate.
But how ridiculous! Like, do you still look at it? Like, I mean, we've seen it now for a while, but I still look at him like, oh my God, he's still doing these things.
And it's going to come back even more because of the pitching part of it.
Exactly.
Go back to last year. When he got his 40th homer was a walk-off grand slam, wasn't it? I think it was.
God,
his second bobblehead night. His second bobblehead night, he led off that game with a homer. He had one of the most historic games of all time to get to 50-50, right? He went 6 for 6, 3 homers, he missed the cycle by a replay, right? He was safe at third, they replayed it, and then he was out.
Yeah.
But he was 6 for 6 that day. And then you add in another bobblehead night, and my God, he's got to hit a walk-off homer and plus have 3 hits. Plus, it was the Braves. Like the Braves were. I mean, did you sense it? Did you watch it? I was watching it on the plane.
I watched it. I watched like the last kind of 4 innings of it.
Okay,
I'm unfortunate for the Braves. I didn't get to see their 5-0 lead.
Right, but Snit treated it like it was Game 7, and
really,
you could just sense. Well, you could sense how important just getting that first win of the year was. Like,
that's true.
On the bingo card, the Braves getting being the last ones to win a game,
get a win,
was not there.
No,
that it was not there, because this is a team that is so phenomenal. And then on the flip side of it, you can't. I mean, Snell was awful yesterday for him, and you can almost tell. I mean, you've seen it, and you've seen him at his best too in San Francisco as well. But he was complaining from the beginning part, like he and home plate umpire last night were not on the same page. And so you thought he was going to get away. Their defense was awful, and then it's how good that lineup is. And right now, without Freddie Freeman, you're going, okay, and why are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
How are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because you got Mookie and you got Freddie and you got another Max Muncy in there, because we got to say another Max Muncy in there, because that stuff is wild, by the way, with the A's Max Muncy and did you know that him and the other Max Muncy, the LA Max Muncy, have the same birthday?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did they really?
It's weird. Yeah, it's really weird. But anyway, to the point of the Dodgers being 8-0 is crazy. The fact that the Padres are 7-0, the Giants are playing really good. What, they're 5-1, 6-1.
Yep.
They're playing phenomenal baseball.
3 losses in the top 4 teams in the NOS.
And then there's the Rockies. Anyway, but I mean, like, that's the beauty of Ohtani, is that we haven't seen it. And everyone talked about, Babe Ruth for so long and all this stuff. It's like, Babe Ruth was not this. He is not this.
No, I can't. No. So I wanted to ask you this, because we played with Barry Bonds.
Yep.
You play with Mike Trout. You're around Bryce Harper.
Played
with Bryce. That's right. Judge, you've seen, but I said this yesterday that, or maybe I said it earlier today. I don't know when I say stuff. That could be a problem at some point, but I think I did. I said it a half an hour ago.
At some point, it was there. It's there. It's on. It's on the Google.
There. It's in there.
It's on the Google.
That Ohtani, when he hits the ball, it makes a different sound than anybody. Like, even like Harper or Trout that I remember. Although you told me Trout runs harder than anybody you've ever.
I've never heard anything. Oh my God! It is the loudest thing down the first. It was like what everyone talked about with Bo
like
Jackson.
Clydesdales.
Yes, the power is like insane.
Does Ohtani's ball make a different sound than anybody?
No. Those three are. Harp is different. Like, even Soto said it last year in one of those ESPN things. Like, whose bat just sounds different? It's like Soto goes Harper by far. For me, Barry's. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mentioned
the Barry one is the all times for me. Like, he would be hitting the cage. You'd be upstairs coming down, and you knew it was him. Yeah, just based on the sound, it was like. Anybody else can go in there and they're whacking away, hitting the ball hard, all this stuff, whatever. And the sound was like, yeah, it was good sound. That was like, I'm running down because you want to go watch. But I would say, I mean, it's they're in a league of their own, all those guys. Oh, yeah. Lulu. But that to me is the part where it's the pitches that he does it on. That's where he's different than a lot of the guys, right? It's almost like a little Vlad senior at times, right? That pitch that he hit last night was a changeup off the plate away, and he hits it out dead central. Yeah, and so why I say that is because Barry just never went. He never left the strike zone, and so you can't just sit there and say, "Oh, he was a great bad ball hitter." No, because he's the most complete hitter we have ever seen. And everyone wanting to, tout Soto and all this stuff. I'm like, every single day I get on my MLB show, I'm like, how much money would Barry have made? Like he would have been a billion. He would have been a billionaire.
Yeah. 8 years, 8 billion.
Oh, but I mean, it's like, that's the stuff is like, appreciate this time because of, who we have, who we're able to see as fans. I mean, I think see, Lulu agrees with that. Like, yeah. Appreciate this time. I mean, it's awesome.
I didn't really need her commenting. Like,
but you do though. She's got good. She's not. Now she's mad at you.
She's like looking at the
over.
I want in. Here's the thing that separates Ohtani from just about everybody we talked about, though. He not only had the pitching, of course. That's the obvious.
Right.
He's the fastest guy on the team.
Dude,
like, he's so fast. I remember when I watched him the first couple of years with the Angels because Trout can fly. And I always said Trout's probably faster than Ohtani, probably to first, maybe 3/4 of the way to first. But then as soon as you get there and the strides start taking over, I go, Ohtani can fly. And he's 6'4". Like, he's a big receiver. People underestimated that, like how great an athlete this guy is. I mean, it doesn't stop. It just does not stop with him. You're like, yeah, but what about this? No, got it. But no, got that too. Got everything. Like, you want a complete ball player that does everything? I mean, I guess, look, I had this argument last year, Franny, and I was like, who's a better ball player, Ohtani or Willie Mays? And the reason I chose Willie Mays is because Mays is one of the greatest center fielders, if not the greatest center fielder of all time. And then Ohtani can pitch. All right. So I'm like, okay, what do you weigh more? I go, they both hit for average. They both hit for power. They both could fly. So do you weigh pitching more than being a great center fielder? And I go, that's kind of tough because I'm not really sure what's more important. I go, maybe pitching. But man, when you have a great center fielder that takes care of like left center and right center and just, I mean, up the middle, you're golden. So I didn't even know how to break that one down because pitching and defense, but that's almost what you have to do with Ohtani because it just, how much do you take away from his greatness that he doesn't, play a position? Maybe a fraction,
maybe a little bit, but like no one's forcing him to.
No,
like, I bet you, like, we could all agree upon this. Like, if you put him out in the outfield, you can watch him shag. Dude's gonna run everything down.
I have no doubt. No doubt.
Team dependent. Let's say team dependent with the Mays and Shohei deal. Because, like, if you have a good pitching staff, then what is he needed for?
Yeah.
Like, you could almost just save him and save his legs and do that offensive side like what we saw last year. But, like, I would always take – I believe I would take Willie all day long, every day. And just for the fact that, I mean, he played every day.
Yep.
Playing every day and being able to put up the numbers and doing all that stuff is still insane. To think about, like, Ohtani as a DH last year, I mean, you talk about, like, what, a 7-WAR player, 8-WAR player as a DH,
insane.
Where a lot of these guys are getting those extra numbers by the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's mind-boggling. So it's a hard one. It's almost impossible to put that comparison. So then I'd just say team related. Like, if you had a team that needed pitching, then I'll take Ohtani. If you had a team that had the pitching, I'm going to take Willie. And if you had a team that had both, I don't know.
I'm going to say you're going to take Willie because you have a dog named after him.
That's exactly right.
So I think we know where you're going on that.
Yep.
On that one.
It's right there too.
Yeah, I know. Are you?
There it is.
Oh yeah. Who's all the baseballs? Who they signed by?
Big leaguers, minor leaguers. No.
Well, no shit. I didn't think it was like a hobo off the street.
So
you got to sign it. This is Billy from the corner that signed my ball. Who's that?
Oh, Billy.
Billy. Okay, go.
Derek,
go.
I got Derek Jeter. I got Will Clark because you got to have him down there. Willie.
Okay.
Barry. By the way, it says God bless Barry Bonds, not God bless you. But God bless Barry Bonds. Johnny Bench, Craig Biggio.
Oh, Bench.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
awesome.
Nice
asking him for that, and he couldn't have been more gracious to do it. It was awesome. It was like,
did you ask him to hold like 7 baseballs in his hand, like
no
a baseball bunch?
No, I just asked him to shake my hand. I was like, damn, it is true.
I know. I heard it's like a catcher's mitt.
Pujols, Vizquel, and then this is one of my favorite ones. That's Doc. That's Roy Haladay's.
Okay.
And there's a bunch. There's a bunch of Hall of Famers in there. A bunch of guys I played with, teammates. My Giants row of like teammates that I have.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch back home.
Do you have a Nolan Ryan ball?
I don't see him ever. So.
I can give you mine.
No, you need to keep that. Keep that for the fam. And then I got
care.
this one over here. It's like
I gave them my Mike Witt ball.
That Baby Ruth one.
What?
Wouldn't that be great? Baby Ruth. I don't know who's this Baby Ruth person.
I'd be like, you might want to lock that one away.
This one's my favorite one though. This is a new one. This one I got last year. There's only one person that's ever done it. 40-70.
40-70 Acuna?
Yeah.
Acuna.
Just to have it signed 40-70 is amazing.
I can't wait till he gets back. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
He is gosh, I can't remember what year was that 21? I think it was 21. We were doing the game Phillies Braves and Sunday Night Baseball. I'm doing the radio side for the Phillies. A one hopper to lead off the game at 110 off the bat to our shortstop. And Didi Gregorius is playing short, right at him, like not right or left, just straight at him. He beat it out. And it was one of those moments that you sat there and like Didi did everything right. Like he really did everything right. Except for the ball wasn't thrown at a billion to first because I'm going like, oh my God. He beat it out. I'm going 110 out of the box. And he's doing like that's another one you just take I think we take for granted like some of this serious talent because of like the past and the everyone with the history of baseball and saying like, oh, these guys aren't as good. Who cares if they're as good or not? You hear this all the time with the basketball world. It's like, who cares? You're wasting away time and passion about these guys that could play. Acuna's insane. And he's going to do it on 2 torn ACLs now. Like, or no, they're torn at the time, but like, I can't wait for him to be back because there's certain guys that you don't take for granted as a broadcaster doing, right? Like in watching games.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
It's funny because we do have that discussion in basketball, probably far too much. And I always tell people it's like the rules were so different. The game was different. I don't know why we're arguing like over who's better. Like when people used to say who would win, the 90s Bulls or the vintage Warriors of like 15 to 22. And I was like, well, what rules are you playing by?
What rules? Yeah.
And I hate when they say, well, Jordan couldn't shoot a 3. I'm like, no, he didn't shoot. Didn't mean he couldn't shoot. He didn't shoot because the game wasn't played that way. And, Kareem didn't do certain things, but you telling me that Kareem couldn't do different, like if he was played college 40 years later and everybody's running around shooting and like, oh, look at what Wemby could do. I go, guess what? Wemby wouldn't have been Wemby 40 years ago.
Right.
Wemby might not have played 40 years ago because he'd have got folded up and stuffed into a suitcase and no one would have cared that he could shoot threes because no one shot threes back then. It's just a totally different game, totally different mindset. And with baseball, it's the same way. Like you're getting paid to drive the ball now. You're getting paid to get on base. Like, the whole walks as good as a hit, which I hated that from Little League when they say, hey, don't worry about it, Billy, walks as good as a hit. And I was like, that's right. When's the last time you saw a walk driving somebody from second base, you fucking dummies? They go, walk's not as good as a hit. Right. I mean, in some situations it is, some it isn't. But that's the mindset kids have growing up now. It's about on base percentage. You were growing up, I was growing up, it was about batting average. And for those people that are curious, it works this way. Batting average actually helps your on base percentage. They kind of go hand in hand. Right. It doesn't hurt on base percentage. So, but players are being taught different things now and asked to do different things, getting paid for different things than they used to. So to say this guy's better than that guy even 30, 40 years ago, I think it's just a ridiculous. I mean, you could have the argument if you want to. I just don't feel like partaking because I don't. Yeah, exactly. Why? I just go get a beer while you guys argue.
Yeah. Look, oh, man. Jackson Merrill just the other day said something that was awesome. Who signed an awesome deal for the Padres, right? Like great for him, but great, even better for the Padres moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, I'm not a walker, I'm a hitter. And I was like,
I love that.
God, you're going to be embraced by so many people just by saying that. And he was phenomenal. I got to interview him last year during the All-Star game in Texas. And I'm like, how are you 20? Like, just the way you're thinking and your thought process on things, and you understand why the older guys fought for him, right? Like to be on the team, and Machado and Fernando Tatis, they're like, he needs to be playing for us. Like, that needs to happen. And it wasn't just about the talent, but like his maturity is insane. So, like, I mean, I was taught never strike out. Like, don't strike out. Like, you are not a power hitter. Don't strike out. So I didn't strike out, like, ever. And that was fine. But that was a part of the time. Like, I knew my role wherever it was from high school on up. I think I had one or two in high school. In my senior year, I struck out that. And then I had more hit by pitches than I did strikeouts in college. So
did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if I should be proud of that or, but it's a part of what the DNA is. Like you said, it's what you're taught. Like, the whole thing with the NBA stuff is just insane because you're going, they're the best athletes in the world, literally the best athletes in the world. And what do the best athletes do better than anybody? They adjust. And so, like, you give them a certain amount of rules. Now, would Steph have to beef up a little bit? Probably, but who cares?
No.
He would still be the greatest shooter.
Yeah. Now, great players, I've always said this, great players have figured it out in any era. And people always say, well, what about the players of the 70s? I go, great players in the 70s could play today. Great players could play, period. I don't care.
Period.
If they're from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if they're great, you will figure it out because they're just different than most people. They go about their, and I always hated the argument too, Franny, that so-and-so player, if you put him back in the 60s, would kill the NBA players of the 60s. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. I go, look at all the training he has.
Right.
Look at all the dietary knowledge he has. Look at all the sleep knowledge he has. I go, but you can't take him from this era and put him in the 60s and expect he would know all that. He wouldn't know all that. Right. He wouldn't know how to train. He wouldn't be working out 12 months a year because he'd have to have a job like everybody else to pay the bills. He wouldn't know what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. He wouldn't know about sleeping 8 hours, 9 hours a day. He wouldn't know about icing the joints or the heat and all that stim. I go, you can't do that. And conversely, you can't take somebody from the 60s and put them here and expect they wouldn't know those things that they didn't know back then. So that's why I say to have that argument is just it's ridiculous because we could have this argument 50 years from now going, oh, this guy couldn't play in 2022 or it's just dumb is what it is.
No, I mean, look, most of those guys they're smoking a dart in between, games or at halftime. I mean, like, come on, what are you doing?
Exactly. So let me ask you a little bit about some of the rule changes that I'm assuming. I shouldn't assume anything, but please tell me you're against
assume all you want.
Okay, the golden batter.
Awful.
Thank you.
Awful.
I can't imagine anybody's going to say, yeah, I like that one.
No, it's just stupid. Like, look, part of the game is especially for baseball more than any other game, the randomness of it makes the beauty of it. Right. So like the randomness of who's hitting in the ninth and oh my God, this sucks. Like I could walk off a game.
Yep.
And no one gives a crap who I am in the moment, but they're going to be elated afterwards. And it's going to be almost even more elation because you're like, oh, he's a no one. And he walked us off. You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty of our sport. So the gold batter, it could GFY.
No, I agree. I agree with you. Is there one thing you would change?
Second base rule. Second base rule. I miss being taught how to clear a runner, and Lenny Staccato in San Jose, right after I got drafted, or like, the year after I got drafted, I mean, he and Gary Davenport were chucking sunflower seed buckets at me, trying to learn that. Last weekend, opening weekend, we had Phillies and Nats, and Kyle Schwarber slid so hard in the second base. It was awesome. And he took out our second baseman. And everyone's like looking around like, oh my God. I was like, this is beautiful. Guy completed the play. I'm like, that's the beauty of the play at second. And everyone's like, oh, well, Utley ruined that. I was like, Utley didn't ruin it. Tejada ruined it.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what? He had his leg broken. I was like, he played against Chase for all those years, and he knew that play was never over. It's the playoffs. It's a one-run game. He's not going to sit there and say like, oh, well, he's going to make it to first, right? It was, for me, always claimed for the fact that like his arms were like, it wasn't against the rules. Just unfortunate guy broke his leg. So play at second base is the one I miss more than anything, because I think it is the one that defines the second baseman and their athleticism and being able to get away and avoid that contact.
And I agree. I think far too often we take one isolated incident and decide, oh man, how many more people could get hurt if we don't change this? Like, what happened once? It was an Utley play that was absurd, but in the 80s,
twice.
Remember
It
Will
happened.
Clark?
Oh my God, yes.
But
But I was going to say it ruined
field.
It ruined Pedroia's
second base back then.
Ooh,
that missed like a year because of that. I mean,
Hal McRae just
McRae the
people.
barrel. That was a little excessive.
It was, but that was a part of the time. Right, so to your point
roll.
earlier, that was it. Like no one was against it, but that's how they police themselves. They just go out and he gets smoked the next time.
Exactly.
So
exactly,
I miss that play.
I miss Frontier Justice, Franny. I think the players do a much better job of policing the game than the umpires ever could.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I just don't think
the players have. I don't think the players have.
I don't think the players have enough in them now to do that.
I think you're right,
because there's a lot more to be lost for these guys.
Yep.
You know, like one, God, who was it a couple years ago? Drawing the blank on it. Pitcher for the Royals drilled Tim Anderson right in the ass. Right.
Dan Quisenberry?
No. This wasn't even like 5 years ago. 6 years ago.
Kubi Tuesday?
Drilled him right in the ass. And he got a 10-game suspension. Got kicked out of the game.
Really?
Yeah. It was right after Tim Anderson hit a homer and flipped his bat towards his dugout on the third base side. Like did the big poppy, but he's not big poppy. And the next time he came up, guy first pitch, boom, smoked him right in the ass. I'm like, dude, that was one of the best things ever. Because it just showed like this guy had control. He knew the moment and he got his point across. One pitch, not even near his head. There was going to be nothing done from it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think everyone understood in that moment, but he got thrown out of the game. He got a 10-game suspension, and it's like, oh my God. So there's that line that we have crossed as far as policing it on the other side of it, where the suspensions happen. And I understand it too. You know, guys are letting it eat a little bit more, and at the head, that's the one where, look, in Japan, you get hit in the head, you're thrown out of the game. And not the batter, but the pitcher. And I think that would be a rule I would love, for the fact that maybe we could take away the automatic ejection. Maybe we can, you know.
I'd be down with that. Like I just always, it's funny because I argue with people, because I think players are more apt to say, let's go the Frontier Justice route. Like it could end poorly. And occasionally it does.
Right.
Like it's not always going to be perfect, but people that understand the sport understand there are ways of doing things without, you know, I won't say hurting people, because there's always that risk. If you're going to throw high and tight, then when you throw a little higher and tighter than you meant to, you could actually, you know, hurt somebody really bad. I get that. But you look at the history of baseball, it doesn't happen that often. The play at second, guys didn't get hurt that often. Guys at the plate, you know, before the Cousins Posey one, guys didn't get, you know, guys weren't knocked out of the game for like 3 months very often. Now the concussion thing was a big deal, but most of that, or a lot of that, was foul tips taken to the dome, you know, before they had the new helmet, stuff like that. So I just think sometimes we get overreactive with stuff. Like in basketball, it seems like every time somebody gets a hard foul, you got to go to the monitor and
we got to go.
If it's a fucking
we got a flagrant one on this one. Over excessive hooking. I was like, what are we on the streets here?
Yeah, it's absurd. Thank you. It's absurd. Yeah. I'm not saying we go back to the Kevin McHale, Kurt Rambis clothesline of dude days and just get 2 free throws, shooting 2. Oh, it's like, bro, that's all you get. I mean, you just almost murdered the guy on the court, and you get 2 free throws. But and I agree with you too. I don't even know if players would know how to do it nowadays, because
that's the biggest part. Right.
They are nicer. They aren't as mean as they used to be. I think and I'm not saying you can't fraternize with the opponents, even though that didn't take place back in the day, but there's not as much nasty in sports
No,
world
it's missed.
anymore. There just isn't, and I kind of miss some of it, to be honest with you.
I had this conversation with Buck Martinez yesterday. Shout out Buck Martinez. Phenomenal hair, by the way. That guy's awesome.
Phenomenal. Any hair is phenomenal hair for him.
So good point. Very good point. But I asked him, I was like, hey, who's your rival now? Like, knowing that there's not, right, with Toronto. But I'm like, who would you consider?
Mhm.
No one. He goes, they just don't hate each other. You know, they don't come up hating each other. I'm like, this is my point. So Buck being, you know, from Sacramento, and I'm like, you're a Giants fan. He goes, hell yes. We had one family member that was a Dodger fan. That didn't go well for him. I was like, that's awesome.
I would imagine that.
All this stuff by, you know, the Dodgers, for me as a fan now, like, look, I don't have that hatred towards them because I'm like, I'm watching how they're treating everybody, and it's actually kind of awesome, right? Like the employees there, they take care of well. They do everything right for family wise. But if you flip it and you go the player side, you're going, where's that hate towards them? The fact that the Padres and Dodgers are talked about as the rivalry pisses me off.
I know.
It's a bunch of crap. It is fan influence as much as possible. Well, guess who's showing up all the time? It's been the Padre fan. It's been the Dodger fan. And until we get that back, I mean, like that to me is the one thing that pisses me off in this game right now is that there's lack of rivalries. You know, Cubs and Cardinals, they don't do much anymore. Red Sox and Yankees, when's the last time they had a dust up? Right? Like 04. You know, you're going back to that time where, you know, A-Rod and Veritek are just going at it at home plate.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it pisses me off that the Giants players don't have that hatred towards the Dodgers. And you can say that about every team in every league, right? There's no true rivalry in our game. And I think the game misses that. That's why last year the Dodgers and Yankees were great, but they didn't hate each other. It would have been even better.
Yeah. No, I think you need a little nasty in sports, no doubt about it. Give me your thoughts on the Dubs heading down toward the playoff stretch. Look a little bit different with Jimmy Butler on the team.
I can't get over, like, because I had this conversation with you a long time ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago with KD, and I'm like, I got hammered over there at KNBR for saying it. I was like, why are we getting mad at losses right now? Like, and everyone's like, what? I'm like, we're watching Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Clay with Draymond. How can you just not sit there and just enjoy? Whether it's a loss and you got, you know, you have people on there saying, see, I told you the Warriors were not that good. And all this stuff. It's like, shut up. Like, they're the effing best. And it's the same thing right now. Is like, we get to watch Steph and Jimmy Butler together. Steph, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond together. And you have a lot of guys that I like. GB2 to me, my God, when he's healthy, that dude plays it's like if you were to say, you know, back in the day, like, watch someone defend, you know, I don't think anyone says watch that guy defend, but watch that guy defend.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He's smaller than everybody, but he's kicking everyone's ass. So I'm excited to see what, you know, this finish could be for them. Because I do think when you get into that playoffs and it's a wild card, man, like, you have Steph. He's the Joker of it all, right? You don't know what you're gonna get it, but you just don't know when it's gonna go nuclear on you. So I'm just, look, for the Bay Area, I think it's awesome. Number one, number two, and you got the Sharks and Macklin Celebrini.
He's good.
Kid's a beast.
He's good. Will Smith's starting to come on,
dude,
too, the last couple of months. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And then Eklund. I didn't know that Eklund would be this good. They got like a really nice young core.
Yep. And so, I mean, again, I love the fact that, you know, Mike Grier does this, right? And there's, you know, coming from Doug Wilson, and you understand the breakdown of this whole thing. And, you know, Evander Kane's ruined it all. We all get that whole thing, which is fact. But bringing back that old blood and bringing back that infusion of, like, the you know, the Thorntons, and keeping them there, and, you know, Macklin, basically doing the Sidney Crosby, Mario Lemieux thing, living with them, with Chloe being back and helping out and doing stuff. You have so much of that old guard that had the pride and passion of the San Jose Sharks. It's you're starting to feel it again.
No doubt about it. All right, let me ask you a few. Well, real quick, because I wanted to ask you a couple questions to wrap it up. But give me your
You have
thumbnail
questions?
sketch on the Giants. I do. I don't know. I think I do. They're in my head. I didn't write them down, so we're gonna find out if I remember. If I remember.
I remember one time working with you. You brought out like a piece of paper and it had like 10 words on it, and I'm like, "What'd you do?" I just had to write down like 10 stats. That's it. It's like, that's fun. You never used the computer for your entire time at KMBR. It was in front of you the whole time. I don't think you ever used it.
Every once in a while, I might pop on, see what's going on.
But it had nothing to do about the show. You just wanted to check out something in the break, so it was all good.
That's true. That's true. Well, I will tell you this. So here's what I learned early on, and I don't know that I couldn't pull it off in baseball, but because there's just so many stats that you got to have and all color coded and this and that, and it's easy to pull it up. I used to write down all kinds of stuff on a sheet of paper for basketball games, stats and this and that and this and that and this. And what I found out was that I'd always remember the stuff that really resonated with me. I didn't have to look down on the sheet of paper to talk about this because I didn't want to get too caught up in the numbers. I just wanted to, if something happened that made me recall something. And what I found out was if I wrote it down, I didn't even need to bring it with me because by writing it down, it would almost imprint itself on my brain. And then the stuff that I didn't find all that, like it wasn't, I would lose it. Like I wouldn't even be able to recall it because it wasn't that important. So that's kind of what I did for the show a little bit too. Like I'd write stuff down, like what I want to talk about, what I wanted this, and I might miss some stuff here and there, but I always felt like it led to more interesting conversations anyway, because then I'd go off on a tangent. But I always felt like if you write it down, you remember what you need to remember. Right. Because I think sometimes too many analysts get caught up into this is a really cool stat. I'm going to get it into the broadcast somehow. Even if it kind of doesn't fit, it's a really cool, neat thing that I want to throw in there. I'm like, let the game speak to you. The game's going to tell you what you need to talk about, and then you just go from there. So anyhow,
I'm gonna send you my game card, because there's a lot of crap on there, but I do it just to, like I have it there. And by looking at it, it's stuff. And by the way, I don't fill in one thing. I've created a document thing that on Excel that shoots out the numbers for me. So it's really not resonating with me that well. But anyway, the whole thing that comes back to it is, if I need to go, I don't want to scour around like a bunch of these sites because all these sites are awesome. Fangraphs, Baseball Reference, Baseball Savant. They do just a hell of a job, but it's like it's a lot. And so I have all the stuff I need on there. I could go to if I need to. And it only makes sense to me. That's the beauty of scoring. That's the beauty of your card. And for me, that's my card.
No doubt. All right. Thumbnail sketch on the Giants.
Pretty damn good. Number one, they left side. So they got like, I think I told you this. Willie Adames to me is like one of my favorites.
Really?
Oh, I love him. Love him. Only player I've ever like been like in my time had, was traded from the Rays to the Brewers. And I don't know if you remember this, but like a bunch of the Brewers guys were crying, or Rays guys were crying, because literally crying, because they're like, that's our that was our leader. He meant that much. And you listen to Pat Murphy, the manager for the Brewers now, and the loss of him is far greater than anything else. And he said, and because of just like that connection that he made with each teammate that mattered. And so you bring him along and you put him next to Matt Chapman, I think was tremendous. Now I still think it was light. If they would have gotten Corbin Burns, it would have been an insane offseason. Just with getting two of those guys, adding, Jung-Woo Lee back, I think was huge this year with the, coming back from injury. Robbie Ray is, I played with him again, in 15 in Reno. And I was like, I rode that guy. He was so in his own world. I was like, you got to grab beers. You got to be doing stuff. Like, let's go. So he hates me probably still to this day, but I think I taught him a thing or two. But he is so up and down that the moment you get there, you're going, all right, can he be consistent? If he's consistent, he's gross. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Verb, we don't know what it's going to be like. Great start, initially, but that's what it's going to be. I worry about the depth of this division wearing on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it has nothing
Yep.
to do with like, are they talented or not? They're
It's
they're
going to be a
damn good
grinder.
team. It's going to be a grind. And it's like the three teams with them, you know, with the Dodgers and the Padres and the Diamondbacks, the reason why it's going to be a bigger grind than most is they're so damn athletic. Like all those teams. And those are teams that like wear on your mind on the baseball field because they can do so many different things. So in a nutshell, I wouldn't be surprised if they're second in the division. I wouldn't be surprised if they're fourth because that's how good the division is. But it's one of those where it's going to be pitching dependent. If they can pitch,
Yeah,
the young guys can step up. If Roop can, have his day and Birdsong, whenever he gets his chance to start for him, does it, it's going to be good.
Yeah. Well, when we get done with the show, I'm going to decode this thing you just sent me.
No. And you're going to tell me exactly what it is. So I will say this: the middle lines separating the players is their career numbers.
Okay, career numbers. Got it. Okay,
that's about it.
I'm gonna figure this out like hieroglyphics. All right, couple more questions. What's the one meal your mom cooked that when you knew she was cooking it, you could not wait to get to the dinner table to eat it?
Ooh, there's a lot. Damn, she's a damn good cook. She still does it. Well, there's one I know that my brother and I hated, but because being teachers, it was the easiest one to do. And
you're going the hate one. I was thinking
no.
You can love hate. I was going to ask that one too.
Okay, so I'm going to go the hate one first, which was this this roasted chicken in cream of mushroom soup. It was awful, and then they pour the soup over the rice.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll go the route of when she would barbecue. She barbecues the tri-tip. Unbelievable. It's her chicken with the like homemade barbecue sauce that I can't explain. It's just I knew it was home, and there's a lot of meals that she cooks that I'm like, damn, where'd you learn this? And she's like, I don't know. I saw it on the Instagram now. Stuff. But I think here's the other thing. All the stuff that Brussels sprouts and broccoli and all the stuff that we kind of hated. I don't think we would have hated back in the day because that shit tastes good now.
Yeah, I know.
But the way they do it
now, the way
they do it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, just think about it, and you're just talking about it. I just thought about it because my mom would cook and she would get recipes. Like she had her little recipe box, right? And it's my grandma's recipe box that was passed down through generations. And I never even thought about this until we were talking about it. We just go on Instagram now. We go on Google. We go, okay, I want to cook jambalaya. There's 100 different recipes for jambalaya. I can get Gordon Ramsay. I can get Bobby Flay. I can get all these celebrity chefs. I can do that. Back then, you were just like, hey, bro, go to the store, grab some stuff and put it together. And good luck with it. And if you were lucky enough to have like an ingredients box, that who knows where that thing came from, because it came from my mom's mom, who probably got some from her mom, and so on and so forth. I mean, who knows? I probably could have been eating the same dinner Jesus was eating. I don't know who my great grandma was cooking for, but now it's just so easy.
Could you tell who cooked? Like if you walked into the room, could you tell mom, dad cooked?
Oh yeah, I could tell who was mom and dad because dad didn't cook, so I knew it was mom.
so dad would do it. Dad would do it every once in a while, and like the portions that we had so different, dude.
Oh really?
Like, oh my god, our sandwiches that he would make for school. Like I didn't know that there was that much peanut butter and jelly in jars. Because it like
did he go Cheesecake Factory portions?
Oh, dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was like, what is this? I was like, oh, dad had it for sure. And there would always be Oreos, in our lunch when it was him, and a napkin. Mom never gave a napkin because mom never made it where it was like gonna be super sloppy. She was like, of all people, you will not spill on yourself with this. I know for a fact, so you'll be good. But when it came to like dinner portions, I was like, I knew when dad did it, I knew when mom did it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, I knew what mom did it because mom did everything. I don't think dad ever, I don't know if he ever cooked. I don't think we had a barbecue. And look, my dad was not woke in this category. Love him, and R.I.P. I love the guy to death, but he grew up in Alabama, and it was the typical, the guy works, mom takes care of the
Right.
the chores and the cooking and the cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And you come home from work and you grab a beer, sit down, watch a game, and he's the one that men take out the trash, men do the yard work, men do everything that around the house, which he was phenomenal at that. Something would break. My mom told me one time that there was and to be quite honest, if I'm being honest, my dad was cheap as hell too, so he wasn't going to pay somebody else to do something. It's like, I ain't paying $100 to get this done. Shit, I'm going to do it myself. So the washer, she said the washer had like a sound. He took the entire washer apart, and then she said there were parts everywhere on the floor, just like everywhere. Put it back together. It worked. Everything was good. And he looked and he went, shit. She goes, what? She goes, there's a part on the floor. I must have forgot to put this back in.
I love it.
I was like, and it still worked. He goes, yeah,
right.
It still worked. I was like, well, good job.
That was my dad always learned. R.I.P. to that man too. Miss that guy, but
yeah, I miss my dad too.
He is he was the handyman of them all. And
yeah,
I go, how do you? Remember asking about like, how the hell did you? He goes, I just watched. I was like, oh, so power of observation, nice. I'm like, you learn how to do electrical work just by watching? He's like, yeah, just watch people do it. How do you learn how to roof? Like he would like do roofing stuff in the in summer breaks after for school to get summer work. I don't know. I just watched, and then he and his buddy Rick just would go, and they had Roof Rat Industry became. But I mean, like it's stuff that we built things. He would do things that he built a batting cage in our backyard when we were younger, out of like extra stuff from school, some pipes that he had bought, but like he just did it all by hand. He built a feeder for it with a rotisserie motor and a block, and that would be the automatic feeder.
Wow!
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was awesome, and he had the timing on it too. So he only put points in certain spots. He's like, okay, because this would be going too fast on the whole thing. But I mean, man, I learned so much from that. Yes.
Yeah.
The moment it like 2 would slip through, you go, oh yeah, my bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I wish my brother picked up those skills. I didn't pick up those skills. He was actually under the car one time in the garage, and he wanted me to hold the light for him. So I was holding the light for him down through the engine block, and he was under there doing something, and it took him forever. And he was down there just like messing with something. And because hey boy, hand me the 5 7/8. Hand me the this, hand me the that. And I would load and reach down there. And then finally one time he didn't ask for anything. He was just down there tinkering with something, and I got kind of bored. So I propped the light up on the engine, and I left. He goes, hey boy, give me the 7 3/4. Hey boy. So he had that little roll, whatever. Yeah. I forget. There's a name for the rolly thing that goes into the car. And he gets out. Yeah, and I was gone. I was like down the street playing ball with somebody.
Oh yeah.
Needless to say, he wasn't super thrilled about that. So
no, I bet my DJ could never do crap. He was an idiot with that stuff. But I picked it up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And think about
I love it.
Everybody can do it today because they have YouTube.
True.
Just go on YouTube. That, I mean, like, how do I do this? How to do this? Like my dad, your dad, that generation, they actually had to watch and learn and figure stuff out.
They were risking
because it wasn't
death.
like or a manual. Remember the manuals you used to have? You're like, let me look at this. What do we got here? Oh, okay. The red wire goes like, what are we diffusing a bomb?
Yeah, but how many times did your dad actually use that? Like he looked at it, he's like, what?
Yeah, not really.
I got it.
No, my version of that is playing a video game and not reading the instructions and going, what the fuck's going on in this game? I didn't know I was supposed to do that.
What would you have done without like the Nintendo book back in the day with Zelda? No one would have known. No one. No, Zelda's a great game. Zelda's an incredible game. Yeah, for sure.
All right, last one. What was the most trouble you got into as a kid? What did you do? And what punishment did you get because of your actions?
All right. So I was in 3rd grade. Kid's name was Nick Sirigliano. Never forget his name. He was like a monster at that age. Like, I don't even know what that would have been, like 5'3" in third grade.
Yeah.
That'd be huge, right? And I was tiny as hell, but fiery. Never changed. And I was the ball boy for my dad in his basketball teams. And so I picked up a few things. He liked to scream and yell every once in a while, and motherfucker, this stuff. It's like, oh God, all right. Yeah, what does that mean? Okay. I'm just gonna say it anyway. We're playing peg pickle out there at Buxton Elementary School in San Jose. Beautiful place. Love the Bulldogs there. And he was about 3 feet from me. We're playing peg pickle with the tennis ball.
No, excuse me. Tell people what that is.
Peg pickle. So if you're to play pickle, where you have two bases, just basically a rundown, and you go from base to base, and you'd have to tag them or whatever. But peg pickle is even more fun because to get the guy out or girl out, you'd have to throw a ball at them, and if you hit them, they're
peg
out.
Them.
Yeah,
peg them.
So peg them. He pegged me from about 3 feet in the head, and I turned to him, and I will never forget him. You motherfucker! Not thinking anything of it. I just remember in context, it sounded great. And that big bastard went all the way to the teacher and was like, Miss Ernst, he called me and man, I got in so much trouble from that. I lost recess for like 2 weeks. And like a kid, like me losing recess for 2 weeks was like, all right. Like that was my show. And
that was my show.
That was my show.
You were the ruler of the kingdom.
No.
Recess.
I did because I was so tiny. So no one I was always like, middle pick. Wasn't like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just dominated from that part. But yeah, and so I got home and having to tell I don't think my mom ever knew that part, but like she was pissed. And she knew that part, but she doesn't know this part where like when I had to tell my dad afterwards, he came in the the room. Like, oh, I can't believe good context though. Nice job. Gave me the pound, and I was like, that's so good. But like didn't still ruin recess for 2 weeks. But yeah, I used it in the perfect context. Yeah. And the worst, that was probably the worst. I was a good kid, man. I didn't get in trouble a lot.
Did your dad? My dad didn't curse around my mom.
So well, technically, yes, he did around her when he was coaching, but not the house. Not the house. I mean, that was
my dad. I remember the first time I came into the garage. He was working on something. He never cursed around mom.
Yeah,
and he hit his head on something. Like lifted his head up and hit it. And he goes, "Motherfucker!" I was like,
"What would happen?"
Excuse me. What did you just say, dude? Yeah. He hit his head. We played hoops, and it was an A-shaped frame that was over the door, and so it was like this, and then came down. And this side stayed up near where the roof was, and my room was here, and this one came down low. And if the basketball would get caught in the flower bed every once in a while, so you go over there, pick up the ball, and hit your head on it, and be like, "Bam! God dang it!" Mother God. So one time we're out there playing ball, and the ball goes over there, and he goes over there to pick it up, and lifts up. And cracks his head on it. He goes, "Mother!" Opens the garage, grabs a saw, and just sawed the corner off right there.
So he was like 4 inches. Chevy Chase. Yeah, he was in Christmas Vacation taking sawed it off.
I was just standing there going, "Oh God!"
Oh man, no, my dad was a big. He would do it.
Yeah,
clench the teeth type thing, on that one. Wouldn't really let it out, but everyone's like, "Oh, Dave was so nice." Dave couldn't hear all the time, so it was great. We were just talking about this the other night. It would have been his 73rd birthday the other day. And Amanda was like, "Do you remember when we were in DC? We were married. That it was our first year married, and we're at this place called the Bracket Room for the tournament. It happened to be called the Bracket Room. It was an awesome place, great sports bar." And she goes, "Do you remember when he sat there the entire time just nodding because it was so loud in there, and he had no clue. By the end of it, like, Dave, did you know what he said?" Yep, I had no idea. You just nodded that 2.5 hours you were there. I didn't hear one effing thing. But he just sat there like, every once in a while you gotta do the lip to like, sounds good. Right, yeah,
sounds good.
Say anything, yeah. So Anyway,
all right, I'm gonna have you vote before you leave. Speaking of brackets, we got our own bracket. We got a serial killer bracket, and we're down to the Fiendish 4 for the serial killer bracket. Who do you got? It's Zodiac versus John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown.
I mean, to do it in a clown, do it as a clown. You got to go that route.
There it is.
Yeah,
well, Zodiac beat Jeffrey Dahmer.
That's crazy.
You know why? Hometown boy. I underestimated that.
Dude, who's the one that was in Fresno for the longest time? Near Fresno.
The Golden State killer?
No. As far as in jail, there's a one near Fresno that state penitentiary down there. I
know Richard
was it Bundy?
Ramirez with, I don't
was it
know.
Bundy that was there? We had a chaplain in Fresno for the Fresno Grizzlies that goes, I would meet him. His name was Ed. Ed's awesome. Ed was awesome.
Ed Kemper?
I don't know. No. I can't remember. It might have been. Anyway,
he
would go and visit
the
him.
killer or the chaplain?
The chaplain.
Oh, okay.
And he would go and visit.
Not to say that some chaplains aren't killers, but
no, but he would go and visit. It was either Ted Bundy or Dahmer. One of those.
Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't Dahmer. Dahmer was
it was Bundy. It was Bundy.
Okay.
And he goes, it sucks because you know how like he goes, these guys are so remorseful. I'm like, dude, what the hell? You're in like in a spot with them the entire time. He goes, yeah, no big deal. I'm like, the fuck kind of are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
You think it's a big deal?
You got Gacy. Who do you got? Speaking of Bundy, that's a 2-3 matchup. Richard Ramirez, a Night Stalker against Ted Bundy.
I gotta go Bundy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. It looks like it's gonna be Bundy Zodiac. Zodiac upset Dahmer. Looks like he's on his way to upsetting Gacy, which is surprising. I think if this poll took place any place but the Bay Area, I think Zodiac probably would have been done.
It's kind of creepy having to vote on this, but I mean, it's
oh no, it's super creepy. There's no kind of about it. It's
Who did Ratto go after? I feel like Ratto would have been his knowledge of stuff is way better than everybody's.
He would have. Ratto probably would have had a write-in vote. I would imagine he wouldn't even have liked our brackets. He would have come up with somebody different just to be different. He probably would have had that, but
he would have given you all the reasons to believe it afterwards, though.
Oh, absolutely. No, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Oh, it's so good. That's why with you guys, it was so the debate that you guys used to have, just because he could debate anything.
He was incredible. There it is right there. Bundy's up 68%.
Oh, that's a runaway.
And Zodiac,
that's gonna be a
70%.
good final.
It might be a good. I have a feeling it's going to be Zodiac now. And Zodiac is just, again, he's riding the momentum of the Bay Area, and he's our guy.
It's pretty damn good. I mean, it's crazy that we have a rooting interest in this right now.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Hey, tell the family I said hi, brother.
I will, dude. Thanks for having me.
Let's do it again soon. And when you're in the Bay Area, let's get together. I'll have you over in the backyard. We'll have a couple cocktails. Speaking of cocktails, did you see the new Reno Aces hat?
No. Did you see the new clam oysters for God? Did you see that one?
No.
It's not a really good logo. Let's just say that.
No.
Yeah. No, wait.
I gotta get
the Reno Aces.
The Reno Aces is a cocktail. It's a
come on.
I swear, Chris Rose was wearing it yesterday. I was like, I gotta get one of those hats. It's like a full-on cocktail on the lid. It was awesome.
Did it say Kino with it?
Kino? No, it did not say Kino. I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure if it had the celery in the drink.
Chesapeake.
I'm gonna pop it up on the screen for you. Here it is. We have it. Okay, Max is gonna pop this thing up because I saw this hat. I was like, "Oh, damn that!" Because minor league baseball have the best lids. There it is.
Oh, dude,
there's your little cocktail.
All right, I just texted you the Chesapeake oyster catchers.
Oh, bro,
right? Right?
Come on,
that's not right. I mean, it's like that's almost as bad as the.
That's vulgar, is what that is.
It's almost as bad as like the Major League Baseball hats with like the Rangers, and you saw that one with the Angels and the Rangers. Like, how did that get through?
How does that? Who clears that?
Seriously,
who clears
that one right there though?
That's legit. And I like the color scheme too. I like the baby blue and the red.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like that you have it looks like the straw. You get the lime in the drink too, and everything. The little face. on the drink. It's like the little swizzle stick coming out of the drink's mouth, which is very cool. It's like a chalice of cocktail. I don't know what kind of cocktail.
Hey, stupid question. Are you going to go up to SAC to watch any of the A's games?
That is a stupid fucking question.
I knew it was.
The answer is no.
I knew it was.
Oh, by the way, that cocktail was holding a bat. That's what the straw was. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah. No.
And a little Dusty Baker.
I'm not going. Well, you know what? Okay. I shouldn't say no for sure. Might be kind of a fun roadie, but I mean, I would say 99% no.
I want to see how little Judge makes that place look.
I would imagine pretty small.
Dude, it's going to be awesome.
I would imagine. The only way I would go up there is if, like, and this isn't going to happen, is if the Warriors had a playoff series against the Kings.
Yeah, Kings.
And they were playing there. Yeah. Kings ain't making it. And, I mean, the Kings are a little bit of a mess, and they wouldn't line up anyway. So, but if they did, yeah, I don't know that I'm going to, or maybe if I'm going to go to Tahoe, because I do go to Tahoe to golf, you know that every summer. I might go a maybe day early. Stop and go to you know what? Come to think about it, I might do that.
I just love. Here's the only thing that I love, because it pisses me off that they're not in Oakland anymore, and I will always call them the Oakland A's, and everyone's going to continue to hammer me and be like, "You can't say it." I was like, I will say it all day, every day. They're the Oakland A's. They did a phenomenal job celebrating Ricky, but it's still not the same. The fact that these guys get to play in front of a packed house every night, I'm pumped for. Whether it's in a minor league stadium or a big league stadium, they get to play. And same thing with the Rays. They get the feeling of what it's like to see every seat taken. That fires me up. Yeah. Because the A's are freaking talented, man. Oakland A's are freaking talented.
I agree. Boom. All right, we're gonna let you run. You want to stick this up on the computer screen, because this is just. I mean, it's just. I don't even know what to say.
Is it the oyster?
I could say present it without comment, but we've already commented on it. But I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The one on the right. I mean,
yeah. I don't know what it looks like there, Tom.
Who stamped that? Got it. We're good. Like,
well,
I mean,
I got so many different things to say now, but
no, you don't need to say anything, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to look at it and say,
I love how they faded out the baseball seams on it too. You know,
I mean that. No, just no, just no.
Like, I swear to God,
imagine you got to wear that out to the.
I put it up on the screen, and Amanda came in. She, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Get it up there for the kids." It's like,
oh. Okay, did she come in and she said, "Bro, why are you on Pornhub? What are you doing over there?"
It's like, huh? It's like,
I mean, but God. I like the color scheme. I like. It looks like.
I like the hat right next to it. The one with the white panel.
I was about to say I like the color scheme. It looks like Oregon State. The beat. Oh. See?
I mean, you got to end it on that one.
It all comes back around is what happens there.
There it is.
But the color scheme. Speaking of color schemes, because I do like orange and black.
Yes.
So I like the giant colors. One of my favorite hats of all time. I have behind me somewhere, you can't see it, but we had Brandon Hyde on, who's a really cool dude, Santa Rosa guy.
Hyder's awesome.
Yeah, I liked him a lot, and he sent me some Oreo gear. So I got the Oreo hat with the goofy.
I see him in a couple weeks. He's one of my favorites.
That's one of my favorite lids too, and he's a cool guy. Really, the first time I met him, he knows a couple of my friends up in Santa Rosa, but really cool guy and fun team to root for. So
I'll say this. The reason why I would like root for the Orioles in general now is because they stayed with him through all that bullshit they put him through and the rebuild that they had. They could have easily moved off of him and gone somewhere else. Instead, Sigmundell, he's one of the assistant GMs there. He's a Bell. He's a Bellarmine Bell.
Really?
Yeah, he's the one that did the wall thing. So moved it back and moved it in. Now it's going to be like the bridge, you know, the median thing that moves it, the cart. They're just going to move it in and out all day, every day. Like whoever they're playing, it's going to go back. It's going to be freaking amazing. So anyway.
Well, tell Amanda and the kids that they said hi and hope you guys are doing well. And hopefully when you're out in the Bay, I'll come check you out. When are the Giants
I'll
there?
Come check you
here.
I'll come check
because you're
here
this year.
We're always there. We're both.
Oh, that's right.
We're in the National League.
The whole schedule's got me freaked out. Like, okay, so you'll be here at some point. I love it too. I'm a big fan of it.
Being a fan, if you're a kid and you get to see everyone, I'm in.
Yeah. No.
Amen.
Tolbert said hi, Franny.
I will, dude. Thanks, bud.
All right, man. Take it easy, bro. One
Later.
of my good friends, Kevin Frandsen, calling. If you have the MLB package like I do, you can catch Franny calling the national games. That was a disturbing disturbing logo. It really was. And I have no idea who put that up there one more time. Like, did they stick like that one? I like that. I like the kind of the pelican. Do you think the pelican's angry because it's looking at the other logo going, fucking, are you kidding me? Like, I gotta share the bill with that. Like, what is that? Like the pelican, although I gotta be honest with you. I'm more kind of like the 80s happy animal logos as opposed to the mean animal logos. Like, remember the dolphin, Miami Dolphin? He just looked like a happy dolphin, had his little dolphin helmet on. Now he's got the angry, kind of aggressive look. The Cardinal, Arizona Cardinals, same thing. Angry look. Before what do we got? Oh, Max can't help himself over here. We have no idea what's going on other than oh god. And I see what you guys are doing now, looking at comments. Yeah, well, how did I not know this was going to like this was a given? You throw something like this up there with you animals, and it's just gonna. Who knows where it's gonna? Well, no, I know exactly where it's gonna go. I was gonna say you don't know where it's gonna go. Yeah, I do. I know exactly where it's gonna go. All right, I was gonna get into Cooper Flag, but we'll do that next week because Cooper Flag's gonna be around for a while, and just how much I love watching that kid play, and how much I hate he plays for Duke. I mean, I hope Houston beats the crap out of him. Like, that's just the one team I can't root for. I just can't root for Duke. I'm sure everybody has their teams: Duke, Notre Dame, Cowboys, Yankees. For a lot of you, Dodgers, whatever it is, LA related. But we'll get into the Final Four next week. We're gonna have something tomorrow. We won't have a show tomorrow, but we'll have a video. I think we're gonna go pay Pablo a visit and get his picks for the Final Four. So we'll go out to the Bay, say hi to Pablo, see what Pablo's up to, get his picks for the Final Four, and maybe some other goodies for you. And then we'll be back next week, and we'll recap the Final Four and the weekend, and we'll probably have a better idea of what's going on in the NBA playoffs. And the MLB will have another weekend under its belt, and I'm sure there'll be stories there. Get closer to NFL draft. I don't do mock drafts. I don't do any of that stuff. And then maybe we'll have a contest of like the most disgusting hats of all time, like hats that should have never been okayed. We'll just have to look at minor league baseball. I do love minor league baseball though, because they just say, fuck it. We're going to throw this up there and see what happens. Like, who I like? I like the Trash Pandas. Trash Pandas are pretty good hats. So that's an Angel affiliate. I don't know if it's in Louisville or somewhere down there. Louisville. But yeah, that one was whew. But I do have to get the cocktail hat. The cocktail hat's pretty badass. The only problem with those hats is they sit too high. Like the bill's too high. And I don't like that. I like the low profile bill. So maybe I'll see if they have those. But cocktail hat, that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. All right, everybody, have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, I'm not sure we're gonna have on next week, but we're grinding. We got some things in the making, and if not, we'll just sit around here and screw around. Give me two comments. Are there any questions before we go? Try to answer at least a couple questions. Kirk Reeder, nice. We're gonna get next week. We're gonna get a tour of the shed. We're gonna have Woody take us on a tour of the shed next week. So we'll get deep into the Giants next week. Tour of the shed. There's going to be some great stories, and Woody's a great storyteller. So there'll be some great stories to go along with the shed contents. And one of these days, too, I might map out a Tolbert tour if we ever get to that point, and pop around the country and have people. Well, she's been a menace today. She's an absolute menace. You got to see Kit too. I think Kit popped in here for a second. It's the first time Kit's made her presence known. Tom, did you enjoy 1862? I wasn't alive. I don't know. No, 1883 and 1923, if that's what Mike's talking about. 1862. Let me look that up for me. Is there a show 1862? Because I don't remember watching a show called 1862. Unless there's a joke there that I'm not quite getting. But if it's a Yellowstone reference, yes, I do love 1923 and I loved 1883. 1923 is better. 1923 is the better show. I love 1862. It's just popped it up there. We're coming up with nothing. Is there anything 1862? We got nothing for you. Yeah, 1883 is good. I like 1883. And I'm just starting to watch Broadchurch. My wife keeps telling me, you got to watch Broadchurch. You got to watch Broadchurch. You got to watch Broadchurch. I'm like, okay, I will. And then I never did. And I started it last night. It's really good. The Brits have like great shows. They really do. And they're only 6 episodes. Keep it nice and tidy, which I enjoy. 8's cool too, but 6 even better. So I did enjoy. I'm enjoying Broadchurch. Just finished Reacher. Watching 1923 right now. Oh, Mobland is coming out with Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren. That looks good too. I'm definitely in for a mob movie with Tom Hardy. And so, is that all we got? So yeah, if 1862 by 1862 you mean 1883, yes, I liked it. If you mean something else, then I don't know what you mean. So I wasn't alive, so I don't know if I liked 1862 or didn't like 1862. I'd have to ask my great, whatever. We're devolving now. All right. Paulie's on right now, isn't he? Yeah, Paulie's on. You guys jump on over and check out Paulie's Particles. Oh, chicken parmesan. It's fucking incredible. You kidding me? Showed you guys a picture of it last night, didn't I? On Twitter. It was awesome. Yeah, it came out great. It's hard to screw that one up. So it's perfect for me. It's hard to screw it up. Takes a little time. Grab a beer, pump my music, and all you got to do is set up the stations. Flour, egg, breadcrumb. Flour, egg, breadcrumb. Flour, egg, breadcrumb. Flour, fry it. Boom. Marinara, cheese, more cheese, basil, oven. Boom. And I get to drink beer and listen to music. And so listened to a little Clash last night, listened to some Foo Fighters last night. So yeah, it was a good night. Good food. I was by myself, nobody in the house. So I got to just do my own thing in the kitchen, pump up the music as loud as I wanted to and cook. So yeah, it was a good night. So, all right, we're out of here. Unless we have anything else, which it doesn't look like we do. 5, 4,